This video explains how to load BlueRAM basic tapes using the Astrocade emulator that is built into MAME. This is the Bally Arcade. You've probably seen it before if you're interested in classic games. This is the BlueRAM expansion. It plugs into the back of the Astrocade. This one holds 16K of RAM. And this cartridge here is the BlueRAM Basic 1.1, which will be required for this emulation. Hi, my name is Adam, and I have the BallyAlley.com website, which is devoted to the Bally Arcade, also known as the Astrocade. Today I'm going to show you how to use emulation to load up Bally basic programs using MAME. So the first thing I want to do here is I'm going to load up my MAME. Now this tutorial presumes that you already have MAME installed. I do show how to use that in a previous program. I'm in my MAME directory here. Currently I have the most current version of MAME, which is MAME 0.209. This is the 64-bit version of MAME, and it is running under Windows 7. I'm going to put all of the programs that I download in this example in my MAME directory under a directory I called BlueRAM Basic. It's empty right now. I'm actually going to download everything live just to give you a better example of how this works. I am recording everything using the OBS recorder. This program is not 100% compatible with my video card. It has some issues, so sometimes the screen will flash. If you see that, sorry about that. I can't do anything about it. It's a known issue with my card. Let's see. So I have MAME going. I am going to start it up with my command line here. It says MAME64, which starts up the version of MAME. Then it says Astrocade. I guess I should show you with my mouse. It says Astrocade. I'm going to start it with no filter for the screen. I'm going to keep the aspect ratio correct. I'm going to start it up in a window, not full screen, and I'm going to start it up so it is aware of the mouse. That is when I start it up. But first I want to go to my website. Also, if you don't have MAME, you can just go to mamedev.org and download it. The downloads are here. You can get the latest releases. And as you can see right here, my 64-bit version is 0.209. I downloaded this one. I have it installed. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I presume you know how to do that already. So I'm going to download a few programs. I think about, let's see, 5 of them. And they are going to be Astrozap, an art program, Outpost 19, a plotter drive program, and Viper test pattern. So the first thing you need to do is go to BallyAlley.com. I've already done that. This is my website. You're going to go to the program download area, and that is here. And you're going to go to the RAM expansion required. The special thing about MAME now, it supports, for the last month and a half, it has supported the ability to load up tape programs. And we're going to take advantage of that. Not only are we going to do that, you also can pretend that MAME has, or the Astrocade emulator in MAME has extra RAM. The Astrocade normally only has 4K of RAM. In this case, we're going to emulate an additional 16K. It's not a lot, but it does give us access to the majority of RAM expansion programs. So I'm now in the RAM expansion area. If you didn't see how I got here, I navigated to program downloads. I'll do that one more time. So programs, RAM expansion required, and we are going to download programs in the order, alphabetical order. So first we're going to download Astrozap, which is a program I've shown in previous videos for AstroBasic. It is a program by George Moses. It's called Astrozap. I'm just going to save it. So I'm using Internet Explorer. It automatically is going to default to my BlueRAM Basic folder, but just in case you're not aware, put it in your MAME directory, and I've made a subdirectory called BlueRAM Basic. I'm going to save that one. And as you can see here, that's the first program on the George Moses page. It's called Astrozap, and it was released in 1982, originally for AstroBasic. It was re-released later. I'm not sure when. I don't even know if it was printed in any place, but it is available on tape, and or excuse me, on 2000 baud audio file. We're going to download an H9 program by Stanley Kendall, and he had some strange method to call his programs. I'm not exactly sure how it worked, but this one is called H-9 Art Program. I'm going to download that one. I'm going to save it in the same directory. then we're going to download Outpost 19. Now, I've shown this before. This is originally an Astrobasic program. A few programs were expanded by WaveMakers. So as you can see here, there's approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 8 or 9 programs. Hardly any of these were available to buy on tape. Some of them were. I think very few people had RAM expansions for their Astrocade in the early 80s, so they probably didn't sell very well. Maybe a few dozen programs were released, or a few dozen tapes were released to the public. We are going to download Outpost 19, which is among my favorite programs for Astrobasic. I actually think the Astrobasic version of this program is better than the BlueRAM Basic program, but the BlueRAM Basic program looks so much better. It uses more colors. It has more highly defined, well, I wouldn't say the graphics are more highly defined, but they have better graphics. But I like the simplicity of the Astrobasic program better. So that's 3 of the programs. So finally we're going to load up in the video art program just for the heck of it, the Viper test pattern. And we'll do a shortcut to Viper. And actually I know it's at the bottom of this page, so we'll just go there like that. And, oh, wrong place. Sorry about that. You know, I'm doing this live. I need to save my hands for editing. It's going to be under alternative engineering programs, which is here. Sorry about my website. It's difficult to navigate. You kind of have to know where things are. If you really want to dig into it, you'll find tons and tons of information here. I've been working on this website on and off for about 18 years, and it is currently May 14th, 2019. So I started this website in about 2000, 2001. So we're going to go down to the bottom of the page here, Viper test pattern. We're going to save this, and we are saving it in the same area. And now I am going to minimize this, and I'm going to minimize my command menu or command window and go into here. So what we're going to do, these are, if I open these up, I use a program called 7-zip, and all of these have their own directories. So I'm just going to choose them all using Shift. They've all been chosen. I'm going to get them all extracted here. And now if we look, we have all of the programs extracted. I'm going to delete my zips. I don't need them anymore. And we are going to navigate here and start using the programs. I will try to use them in alphabetical order, starting with Astrosap, which is a game. Again, we're going to use H9, which is an art program, Outpost 19, the plotter program, and finally the Viper test program. I'm not going to go in depth about any of these programs. I'm just going to load them up as an example of how to load programs using or BlueRAM Basic. So first I bring up my command window, and as I've said already, I'm going to use MAME. I always start it from the command line. You don't have to do that. In fact, it might be better if you don't, but I prefer the way it looks, and it makes better videos if I start it up with the no filters and the keep aspect ratio and things like that. So let's get started. I am going to show you one more time. MAME 64, Astrobasic, no filter, and keep aspect ratio. And just for the heck of it, I am going to start it without doing that. I'm just going to click MAME 64, and you get a full program, a full version of the screen. This is how you would start it normally. Then you can navigate to available programs. You'd get the Bally Professional Arcade, and you can use it from here. I find that a little more challenging when I'm making a video. So I'm going to escape from here and quit that program, go back to my command line, and this just makes it easier to make the video. I suspect most users would probably start it the other way. So I've started up in a window, and I'm going to make it full screen by pressing Alt-Enter, and it automatically chooses the BIOS that's built into the Astrocade. Most users who use the Astrocade, when they turn it on, unless they have a cartridge inserted, will see this. I have my mouse set up as my knob for my joystick, so if I press my left mouse button, I can go back and forth as if I'm using the knob, which is also known as like a paddle on like the Atari 2600, but it's built into the controller. So we've got gunfight and things like that. I'll start up gunfight just for the heck of it. I'll set up for 99, and that is it. I can control my gun going up and down, but that's not really the point here. I can of course move my guy back and forth, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to, oops, I didn't mean to do that exactly. Start all this up again. And I'm going to, first, I'm going to add a 16K RAM expansion to the system. Make it full screen again, tab down, And to do that, I go to slot devices. I press tab, and it brings me to this program. Again, I'm going to escape out of this, go to return to machine, press the tab key, and I want to go to slot devices. So I'm going to go down. I'm using the cursor keys to navigate. I can also navigate using the mouse if you let MAME know that you have a mouse available, which is why I use the command prompt, because normally it doesn't know that. Slot devices, and it has a whole bunch of information here. By default, it knows we have one joystick attached, which in my case, I'm using an adapter that allows me to use a 2600 controller, the classic CX40, and I'm going to leave that as the default. Now here we have RAM expansions. I'm going to choose the Blue RAM 16K unit. You can also choose the 32K, the Blue RAM 4K, which is the original system, the Lil White RAM, which is the one that you can currently still buy, and from Ken Lil. And finally, there's the RNL Enterprises 64K RAM expansion board, which is a crazy board, and had all these things that you could do with it. We're not going to use any of that, and most of it isn't emulated except for the RAM. Oh, and it also can emulate the Viper. And so, like I said, we're just going to emulate the plain Jane Blue RAM, which had a parallel port attached to it. It had a serial port, and it also had 2000 baud I/O, so you could save to and from 2000 baud. I'm not going to save. Maybe I'll show an example of saving. We'll get to that, but right now I'm not going to do that. And Blue RAM Basic is now going to be started when we use that, and I'm going to escape to the machine. As you can see, there's no difference. The machine still starts up. If I press reset, you don't see any difference as a user. There is 16K attached though, so if I want to choose a different cartridge, I can go to tab, let me back up a second because I'm probably going kind of fast here, and I don't mean to be, but return to the machine, press tab, go to File Manager, go to Cartridge Slot, go to Software List. I'm going to choose a cartridge from here. There's many cartridges you can choose. I'm going to go, using my mouse, I'm going to go to BRB11, which is the Blue RAM Basic 1.1 cartridge, which is a new version of BASIC written by Jay Fenton in about 1980. It's based on Bally Basic, not Astro Basic, and the original version was released on tape. The cartridge was version 1.1. So I'm going to start that up. And maybe for some reason it didn't slot devices. Maybe I need to press F3 to restart. Not sure why it's not working here. File Manager. Oh, I started up the wrong cartridge. So we need to make sure, as you can see, I started up the wrong cartridge, Blue RAM Basic 10P. It's a prototype. It's not going to work correctly with this. This is all going to teach you a lesson because, of course, I'm not trying to teach you a lesson, but we want this one. There we go. It's working perfectly. I have my volume on my headset down to 1%. It's still loud. I can hear it in my earphones. I'm hoping it's not coming in through my mic. If it does, sorry about that. So we want to be able to load a program now. So in order to do that, I have my keypad hooked up. You can see my previous videos on how to do that. I have my a separate keyboard defined so that I can have 24 keys defined as they are laid out on an Astro Basic computer. So I'm going to first load in AstroZap, which is just one load. So I have it started. Do not press enter. I have : input typed. Press tab. I go to File Manager. And now that I have Blue RAM Basic running, there's another option called cassette. I'm going to go down to cassette. I'm going to go down to Blue RAM Basic, which is right here, which is my directory. I'm going to load up AstroZap. And as you can see, here's a WAV file. So now I go to Return Previous Menu, Tape Control, Play. The program is playing. It's about 20 seconds long to load. I'm going to go to Previous Menu, Return to Previous Menu, and it's 7 seconds of loading. If you press Insert, it'll load faster. So I'm going to load, basically makes it load all but instantly. And now it's done. Oh, that was a mistake because I didn't press Enter. So press Go here, and now I have to go back to here, press Tape Control again. I have to rewind it, press play. Hopefully this will teach you a lesson. I mean, that's not really the point, of course, but return and insert to go a little faster. I'll let it finish out the last second or two here just so it loads up properly. and I get to choose my players with my knob on the controller, so I use my mouse. Number of players 1, and the program is loaded. You might have seen me use this before with Alright, I'm going to let myself get blown up. Alright, so there you go. That's that program. I'm going to press F3. Now that I've pressed F3, the program's restarted. I'm going to put in another tape. I'm going to put in H9 art program. I'm going to put in tape, not tape control. I want to go to slot file manager. I want to go to cassette. We're going to go down to previous menu. Let's see. I guess I'll have to start all over. So, oh, we got to just go to the top like that. And we're going to choose the art program. This is also a single load. Be careful here. There's two versions of this. There's an alternate version, which is like a prototype or something. I'm not sure exactly what the differences are. And there's also the regular version. There's that. It's in. And we're going to return to our main menu. I'm going to press the blue key. I'm going to press input. And I'm going to press go. I have to go to tape control. Play. And it's playing it. Return to previous menu. And as you can see, we're 4 seconds into loading the program. I'm going to press insert to speed this up a bit. And that is it. This program allows you to do a whole bunch of different drawings, basically. I'm going to just choose a few of them. It's nothing in particular here that's special. I mean, they are special to me. I like them all. We'll choose the first one. And it's just going to draw some circles over and over and over. I think in order to get out of this, I have to press go or space, because it'll just keep running the program over and over. So you can see a little bit about how this program works. Let's speed it up a bit. And that's just at max speed. It's running about 26 times its normal speed. Alright, so let's press go. Maybe it's space to get back. There is a function that lets you get back. Oh, trigger on the controller. Now we're going to do random disappearing lines, so press 2. So what this program does here is it writes them and then it'll disappear or erase all the programs. Let's go to the third one. I think it's more random disappearing lines, but maybe in color. Yeah. So this is a program that I think all of these programs were originally written in Astro Basic or Bally Basic, and color was just added to them. So this program will run over and over. Blu-ray Basic is able to show, under normal circumstances, up to 4 colors on the screen at once. Using a little bit of tricks, you can show 8 colors, and using even more tricks like machine language, you can show many more. But and you can use more RAM, so you can have much larger programs. So we are going to go back. I guess I got to wait for this to finish. We're going to choose option 4, more circles. And that's it. Let's get out of that program. I don't probably need to show you all the options, but I'm going to show them anyway, just because how often do you get to see programs like this written in Extended Basic on the Astrocade running on emulation? I will tell you how many times. None, because I'm pretty sure this is the first video been uploaded to YouTube that shows these sort of things running. Let's see, and it is 2019, so that's unusual. We're going to show Mike's boxes. I'm guessing that this is a variant of something written by Mike White. What's interesting when I viewed this program, in 1985, the Amiga 1000 came out, of course, at the time. It was only called the Amiga, and if you ran Amiga Basic, written by Microsoft, it had a program that looked almost identical to this. I mean, if you were to run these two programs for me side by side, I would not really be able to tell you the difference between an Amiga and the Astrocade. So that's pretty unusual. Let's get out of this program. And that was Mike's boxes. You might as well go through all of them, right? Video art, it's some of my favorite things to do with classic computers. Euro demos are pretty neat, but there are none of those written for the Astrocade. So this program just makes some art. I don't even remember this program. I've run it, but it's been a while. Just enjoying the program, sitting back. There we go. That's the program running one time. And let's see what it does. It's going to do the same thing with basically circles now. Apparently. Doesn't really look like a circle to me, does it? Maybe from the center, circles will come out. Now, if you're familiar with AstroBasic, you might notice, even though you only can have two colors in AstroBasic, a background color and a foreground color, even though there's only 4 colors up the screen at once here, it seems to make a big difference, at least to me. All right, let's get out of this program, and we'll go and run the last one. The last one is called number 9. It's called Unusual Program, or excuse me, Unusual Circles. And they're just going to make some random circles. I'm not sure why exactly they're unusual. That's funny. So the programmer, of course, of this made a little joke there, and had 2 of his programs work together to create that. I guess that's why it's called Unusual Circles. All right, so just for the heck of it, I'm going to halt this program. I'm going to type in DE, so DE period will get me back to default. I need to press period, and so it's back to default. Now if I clear the screen, or even if I press list, here's the program. And you can see the beginning of the program. I can make it list faster by turning off the sound. I can make the font smaller, and do a lot of things. You can program in BASIC, and maybe I'll try to save a program. We'll see how that goes. Next up, we're going to load up Outpost 19. So I'm going to press reset by pressing F3. And I'm going to press tab. I'm going to go to File Manager. I'm going to go to here. I'm going to go to the bottom of the screen. I'm going to go back one directory and to Outpost 19. Now I have this program in here for a specific reason, because programs that use more than 4K on BlueRAM Basic require at least 2 loads. And that's because the first version of BlueRAM Basic that was written with only 4K in mind. And when they expanded BlueRAM Basic to have 16K and then 32K, you required a special way to load a program. Now, this is usually invisible to the user. The programs would be put one after the other on a tape, and the first one would load, and then the second one would load, and that was that. And unbeknownst to the user, it was just one load, really. But now that we are loading from the emulator, we have to load one load at a time. So we have to go down to the bottom here. We're going to choose load 1. We're going to go back, and we're going to say :input. And this time we're going to say run. Oh, that's not what I did it? So let's press reset again, get out of that. Retyping, all right. So :input, run. All right, so now I have the first data file loaded, and I'm going to go to tape control. I'm going to say play, go to return to menu, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit. Now it is finished loading. It's waiting for the next load. Like I said, normally this would be on the tape, it would be right after this load, and the user wouldn't even know about this. That is not possible here. We're using emulation. It works quite a bit differently. For instance, it doesn't use an Astrocade at all. We're going to tell it, the file manager, that we want to get the second load. And also, this is a version that has an alternate version here. As you can see, this is an alternate. This is not. So we'll load up the second version of it, and we will go to tape control, and we will say play. We will go to the end here, and it's playing. I'll speed that up a bit. All right, this program is very simple. It's great. It's got 16 screens. You need to collect everything on the screens. Something you may notice is it's playing music at the same time. Oh. So the black dot is me, the baddie is the red dot there on that screen. You always start off back where you began. And if the baddie is on the screen when you die, you die. You can warp from one screen to another. And the warp is an invisible area. I have a map of this online. And when you pick up an item, it shows it at the bottom of the screen. Let's see. I got killed right away. I have one more life left, so I will show you that myself getting killed, only because it is it shows you all your treasures. It would be neat to see this program running on another system. It's a great program. It's fun. It's a fun game. One of these spaces will let me warp. There we go, that one. And I can warp to another side of the screen. And that's where I reappear. Now, I have a map that I drew of this on BallyAlley, but normally you probably just have to memorize where you're going to go. And so I've been to this room already. So really, it wasn't a wise choice to do. Alright, see, now I can't get that right now. There's nothing I can do except wait or leave the screen. So I will leave the screen. And he's gonna I'll let him kill me. The game is over. It's the end. It's a pretty neat program. Give it a try sometime, and even load the AstroBasic program, even if you just have a regular Astrocade. I'm gonna press reset, F3 for MAME, and here we are back at BASIC. I'm gonna type in go, and I will and I'll load up the last program, which is the Viper test pattern. So File Manager. We'll go to the bottom of the screen, go to the previous menu, go to Viper test pattern. If I'm going a little fast for you, this is just to give you a basic idea. It's probably better than reading some documentation, or it's much better than trying to figure this out on your own. So there is my Viper test pattern ready to be loaded. Go to previous screen. Let's go to tape control. Press play, and I will escape out of here, and I'll load this up a little faster. And here we are. This program was actually written for ViperSoft Basic. It runs just fine in BlueRAM Basic. It does this over and over. It's a short program. I think it was originally printed in the Cursor newsletter, but here it is for your enjoyment. I'm going to now, let's see, what would be the way to, the next thing I really should show you is how to save a program. So I'm going to press F3. I have saved the program before, and I haven't actually even tried this on the emulation. I've only loaded BlueRAM Basic programs, so this isn't going to be too simple, but as you can see, my text is much smaller here. So I'll just save a program quickly that will print my name in small text and load it back up. So what we need to do first is we need to, well, first we need to write a program. So then print, I'll type my name, A-D-A-M space colon, whoops, colon, I'll put a comma here. Now that is a strange comma, but that is correct. This font is very unusual because it is only 3 pixels wide by 5 pixels tall. So some letters look amazingly similar. So for instance, I'm going to type, I'm going to type enter or go here. I'm going to type an H and an M. See if you can tell the difference between what they look like. This is an H. that's an M, and this is an N. Whoops. This is an M, and this is an N. Look how similar they look. This is a workaround because the Astrocade has very low-res graphics. Unusual for the time, or not unusual for the time that I had low-res graphics, but it's an unusual 3x5 character set for the time. Interestingly, the Atari Lynx has a character set which is almost identical to this character set. Alright, so if we run our program now, that's what it's going to do. I guess it doesn't know the comma there. So let me do 10, enter. I'm going to do that, and I've edited my program, and that's all I'm going to have it do. I'm going to have it do a 20. I'm going to say go to 10. I mean, this is very simple. It would be probably better if I was to show you some kind of example of a little more sophistication here, but I'm not going to do that right now. If I run my program, that's all it will do. I'm going to turn off the noise here so it runs a little faster and isn't as annoying when it runs. So now if I run the program again, it runs a little faster. I guess that comma wasn't a comma. I must have mistyped something. So I'm going to type in 10, and I'm going to add my correct statement here. Put a comma. So I guess that was the question mark, perhaps? No. I don't know what I typed earlier. But now when I save my program, this is what we get instead. Looks a little better, right? Let's halt it. Now I want to save it. So I haven't done this before, so let's see if it works out in my favor. We're going to go to tape control. Actually, we need to go to previous program, file manager. Now I went to, let's return here because I'm going a little fast. Go to the bottom here. So I want to save my program, and the way to do that is I press tab. I go to tape control, file manager. I pretend I'm going to insert a tape, but instead I don't. I press cassette. I press create. Now it's going to ask me to give it a name for my program. I'm going to call it, no, that's not what I want to call it. So I want to go up to create, and it's going to default with the last name. I didn't realize that. I'm going to call it program basic test.wave, and I'm going to say create and return to previous menu. So it's ready. It's not recording yet though. So I'm going to go colon print, but I can't press go yet. If I do that, the program is not going to record properly. I have to go to tape control. I have to say record. Hopefully this works. We'll learn together. Record. It's recording. I go to previous menu, and as you can see, it's 5 seconds in. So no data is being loaded onto this tape yet until I press go. And I will know that the whole program is saved when I get my cursor back. And it's going to save all of memory. It's not going to just save my 2 lines. So it takes a little longer. And my program is back. So now I have to tell my program that it's over. Tape control. I press stop. So if you notice here, it recorded for 33 seconds. So it will take approximately 20-something seconds plus the blank space at the end of this tape to recall it back. But you can actually call up this program in like an editor, like Audacity or something, and remove the silence at the beginning and the end of the program, resave it, and it'll load up just fine in here. So hopefully it loaded. That's the idea, or saved. I'm going to reset the system. I'm going to list, make sure nothing is there. Nothing is in the program or in memory. And so colon input. Now I go to tab, tape controls, and play. Oh, I got to rewind it first. It's kind of interesting how this works. It rewinds 30 seconds at a time. So play. I'm going to get back to here, It's loading. I'm going to speed it up a bit. And it should stop any second now. And it is done. So if it's still loading, I guess it'll actually finish at 33 seconds. And now I can list my program. And there we go. It's back in memory. Of course, any size program I saved would have worked. I want to thank the person who added this ability to save. This is a great addition to MAME for the Astrocade. I've been waiting for this to be added since 2001, so a good 18 years. And I'll run my program real quick, and I'll fade out from here. All right. You know, why fade out from here why don't I type up something worth seeing? Something that should just fill the whole screen. You know, I'm going to type in BallyAlley because, you know, it is the best site for news about the Astrocade. If you want any information about the Astrocade, this is the place to go to. BallyAlley.com. Yeah, it's kind of amusing that I'm able to get this to work at all on here. And you know, if I was able to show you this 15 years ago or longer, perhaps there would have been more basic programs written for the system. Let's list our program. Let's run it. Maybe there's a syntax error, because who knows. There we go. That is my website. Visit it, enjoy it, and hopefully I'll be making some more videos about the Astrocade sometime soon. Enjoy.